Howdy folks, Grok the DuckFarmer here, and welcome to this mod spotlight for Random Things. Now the mod itself is by Lumion, and it's for Minecraft 1.12.2, and the version of Random Things that I'm reviewing today is 4.2.1.2. So if you're dealing with something that's at a different version, newer or older, you may be missing some things, there may be some new stuff, and that's just the way it happens. Anyway, let's go take a look at some of the stuff. I'll briefly go over the recipes, mainly because mod pack authors tend to really enjoy changing recipes, but we'll have them, and this is part one. I'm going to do part two for the rest of the stuff because there's so much stuff. But I'm also not planning on covering 100%. There's just a lot of stuff. But it's fun stuff. First off is a group of stuff that I'm going to kind of lump into decorations. Some of these are useful, some of them are actually functional, but I'm just going to kind of call them decorations. First is the block of sticks, where you can get a whole bunch of sticks, or the returning block of sticks. Now, the nice thing about these is, with the block of sticks, you can sit there and pillar up with these sticks. Now, this is assuming that you're not in creative mode, but the nice thing about these sticks, after a while, they disappear. So, no more nerd poles of cobble and dirt anywhere. That's just ugly, ugly, ugly. Now the returning block of sticks will, when they break, they return back into the inventory of the closest person. So both extremely handy to have. If you've ever said to yourself, I wish I had lots of colorful grass, well, your prayers have been answered, because you can silk touch a grass block, pull out some grass seeds, and then you can use that on dirt to get grass, or you can combine it with any sort of dye, all 16 colors worth, and you can get lots and lots of different colored dye. Now, these grasses won't spread to other grass, but if you have dirt around them, they will spread, just like grass, because they're grass. You can never have too many crafting tables, and so if you take a regular crafting table and surround it by a type of wood, you will get a crafting table of that type of wood. And as you can see, we've got the vanilla type and then the 6 colored wood types, so you can have pretty looking crafting tables. Quartz glass is pretty easy to make, just a little bit of quartz and glass, and the coolest thing about this is it's not a block for players, but for other mobs, it is. It's a solid block for them. Lapis glass, very similar, easy to make, and the cool thing about lapis glass is it is a solid for the players, but for mobs, they just pass right through. Trigger glass uses some of the lapis and quartz glass, and one of the interesting things about it is it's a solid for both players and mobs, but when it receives a redstone signal, it loses its solidity. Diaphanous blocks use the quartz glass and then surrounded by the 4 colors here, and that will give you stone diaphanous blocks, or you can combine that with any other block that's a full block, and that will give you a diaphanous block of that type, or you can invert it by just putting that block, dyed or undyed, back into the crafting station. That'll get you the inverted diaphanous block. So as the name involves, these two are diaphanous blocks, and then there's the inverted column right there. The closer you get, the diaphanous blocks go away, and the inverted stays. The diaphanous ones you can just pass right through, and the inverted, thunk, they solidify as you get closer. Thunk. The quartz lamp is an always-on lamp that produces a light level of 15, so mobs can't spawn, but you cannot see the light. If you were to place this down at night, you wouldn't see it at all. No light. The lapis lamp is another always-on lamp. If you place that down, there is a visible light, but it won't affect the mobs. They can still spawn in that light level. The rainbow lamp is different because this does require a redstone signal if you want to change the color. Now, this white here is a power level of 0 on the redstone, and there's 1, 2, all the way going up to 15 here. So all these different lamps are the same rainbow lamp, they just react differently based off of the redstone signal that they are getting. You can use the analog emitter to output a specific amount of redstone, and it's configurable within the GUI. So right here I have the circle piece. That's what receives the redstone signal, and when you flip it, the configured light level goes out. In this case it's 1, or now it's 5, and that went to green. Do you like bricks? Do you wish they came in more colors? Do you wish that they would glow? Well, you can do that. You surround your bricks around a dye of any type, and you get that colored dye brick. Or if you add luminous powder to your brick, you will get a luminous light stained brick, or whatever the color is that you choose. Crafting the luminous powder is pretty simple, and you get 4 of them, and you can make those bricks, or you can also combine them with magical enchanted items. This is regular diamond, that's enchanted diamond, and that's enchanted diamond with the luminous powder, and it's supposed to glow. But looking at this at night, I'm not really seeing much of a difference. It seems a little bit brighter on the right, but I'm not really noticing it. Another use for the luminous powder is to make runic dust. Now, you take any sort of dye, combine it with clay and your luminous powder, and you will get 8 of that color. And we'll just snag that. And then you can come over and you can make designs. You know, maybe I'll just make a little design here of white. And then you can go through and you can click on something. Say you like this pattern a whole bunch, just right click that with paper. Now it's a rune pattern, and you can right click it on another block. And if you're not in creative, if you've got those powders on you, it will consume them as it puts them on the ground. And then if you go, nah, don't really like that, you can break those and hopefully catch them before they fall away. Did you know that if you combine all these slime balls together, you can get a slime block? Okay, that's been around for forever, but you can compress these. If you take any sort of shovel, you can right-click them and compress them a little bit more, and then compress them even more. And they do stuff. Let's take a quick look. We'll drop some sand on them. That one's kind of bouncy. That one's really bouncy. Look at those things go. And it's not just those items. We also have mobs. They can bounce on them too. Ba-doing. Until they get, bored with it, and then they, take damage and die. Which is okay. The platform can be made with any type of wood, 3 in a row, plus an ender pearl. And what that does for you is it's a nice solid surface that you can run around and do stuff, but as soon as you crouch on it, it's no longer a solid surface. The dyeing machine dyes a whole bunch, especially if you put dyes in it. So you grab yourself the dyeing machine, you can give colors, like here's your regular diamond armor. This is with red dye, and this is it with blue dye. The fluid display allows you to, display fluids. When you place them in the world, you can right-click them with a bucket of some fluid, which gives you that cool-looking effect of the fluid there. Or if you want flowing fluid, then you can just right-click that, and now you've got it pouring on down. Okay, you can't actually create the pitcher plant, but it is something that you can find growing in the world, and if you run up to it, you can harvest it with a right click, but you can also get fluids out of it, specifically water. You can get lots of water out of that, and depending on the availability of the other mods, you should be able to put a tank or some other container of fluids, and it will slowly fill up with water if it's next to the pitcher plant. The Lotus is another world-generated plant that you will find in snowy biomes, and if it looks like this, you can harvest it with the right click, and that will give you one of these little blossoms that you can eat and that will give you mana. Now, if you break that piece, that will give you the Lotus seed that you can then plant elsewhere, like at home. Fertilized Dirt is pretty easy to make, and, you know, kill skeletons, kill some zombies, get yourself some fertilized dirt, and the nice thing is you can grow crops on that without needing water sources, and you just do a little yo-ho-ho, and now you can plant all the stuff you want. The peace candle is another one of those things that you can't create, but you can find it in the wild if you look for the villages and look for the cobblestone church or chapel that's built there. 1 in 3 of those is going to have a peace candle in it. And the nice thing about these, they stop mob spawns in a 5x5 chunk area centered on the candle. So if you take that home, put it in your base, you're free of mobs. Now for the section of random things that I call Redstone-ish. They have something to do with either redstone or things that you can do that you power up and whatever. The advanced redstone repeater allows you to set a delayed on and off. In this case, I set them both to 50, so it takes a while to turn on, and then it powers for a good chunk of time, and very configurable. The advanced redstone torch emits 2 redstone signals depending on whether it's powered or not. The red is unpowered and the green is powered. And you just click on the torch itself to tell it which strength level you want, from 15 down to 0. If you're looking for a specific biome, you can just roam the map like crazy and hope to find it. Or, as you're exploring and opening up treasure chests, you'll come across these biome crystals. And this one happens to be a swampland biome. And so you could say, I want to find that swampland. Where's the closest one to where I am? Well, you can just sit there and make this Biome Radar. And that uses this biome sensor, which if we take a look, hey, it tells me I'm in the void. Well, strange thing, because it's a void world. But if you make this, then you can go ahead and place the crystal in there, give it a redstone signal, lever will work, and then this antenna sort of thing will start emitting smoke as it searches for it. I think the one smoke is saying, are you kidding me? I'm in a void. There's nothing else. But you should get smoke on all 4 of these, and when you see smoke here in the center, it's found it. At which point, you can go ahead and right-click this with a piece of paper, and it'll give you the coordinates. And then you can turn it off, pull out this, put in the next biome crystal, lather, rinse, repeat. Do you love cobble as much as I love cobble? Okay, well, maybe you love cobble more, but you can make this block breaker, pretty simple, cheap, early game thing that you can make, and it's only going to break things that an iron pick can break, but you could set up a really, really quick cobble gen like this here. You've got lava and the block breaker and water in a row. The lava pours around, the water pours over and down, and you want that down piece. And then behind it, you've got a chest or some other storage device, and it will go ahead and just put the stuff that you're breaking into there. This runs really, really nice. Give credit to Torgal for coming up with this and showing me how to do it. This works fantastic on servers where you may get a little bit of lag. I love this setup. And the cobble. If you find you just have too many diamond blocks hanging around and you need a block destabilizer, you can make this little bad boy and point it into a big bunch of diamonds there, maybe some iron blocks behind it. You give it a signal and it'll destabilize them. Bye! And now you don't have those diamond blocks. Actually, it'll destabilize up to 50 blocks of the same type. And it will make them destabilize like gravel and sand, and they will fall. The chat detector is a cool block because it will emit a redstone signal when you say the key magic special word. Or you can make the global chat detector, and you can sit there and tell it any word that anybody says in chat, and it will go ahead and fire off a redstone signal. Let's try this. Hey, it just went on. The contact button and the contact lever answer the problem of, I want a button or I want a lever, but I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them at all, but I still want to be able to just press the block and it acts like a button, or I press the block and it acts like a lever, because these contact levers and blocks are behind them. The Ender Bridge is a way to bounce about. You can sit there and make the end version of that, or the Prismarine version. Requires three things. Requires a redstone signal to be given to the Ender Bridge itself, and the Ender Bridge needs to be pointing to a Ender Anchor. Now in this case, my Ender Anchor is way up there. You step on it, it's going to search for that anchor and then send it there. Now, the farther the distance, the longer it's going to take, but that certainly works. The igniter does exactly that. It will ignite things and put them on fire, but it doesn't take any durability like if you were to regularly use a flint and steel. So you can sit there and turn on a nether portal like this, and when you're done with it, you could go ahead and turn that right off. Isn't that cool? And then turn it back on again. The Imbuing Station allows you, with a fairly cheap price, other than that emerald, to create 4 different types of imbues with different recipes. These will combine to create for you a 20-minute effect. This one means that as I kill mobs, they will go ahead and give me 50% more experience as I kill them. The vanilla dropper is handy, but it's got some problems. One, it's got to have a pulse every time it needs to drop something, and 2, it kind of just spits things all over the place. Well, the iron dropper is pretty darn cheap, but the nice thing about that is you can configure how it's going to eject, how fast it ejects, whether it ejects straight out or with just random spewing it, and you can also turn off the sound particle and effects on that. So there it goes. The item collectors do exactly that. They collect items. Now, the basic one will collect anything within a certain range that's not configurable, but the advanced one is configurable. So if you just start tossing items, you know, mob drops, things that you're breaking, whatever, it will go ahead and suck them up and toss them into the container that it's attached to. Or you can right-click and configure your advanced item collector with the exact X, Y, and Z coordinates, how big of a radius it needs to search, as well as a filter of what it can and cannot take. There it is. Now, the weather eggs allow you to adjust the weather. You can sit there and create storm or sun or just plain rain. And it's pretty easy to do. In fact, you just sit there and say, all right, let's toss that there, and that will create the storm. And if you realize, you know, I really don't want all that much storm, maybe I'd just rather have some rain, well, you know, toss a little rain cloud there too. Or if that's been annoying to you, go ahead and toss it a little bit of a sun. That one's pretty. There goes the storm. There goes the rain. And it darkens here in the void, but it isn't actually raining. There goes the sun. And I just cleared up very nicely. Pretty cool. If you want a rain shield that's a little bit more permanent, you can create this, and it doesn't take all that much, but you can take this rain shield, put it someplace in your base, and it's going to protect a multi-chunk area centered on this rain shield from rain. Now, the light will darken, but you won't get the sound and the particle effects of rain. And if you want to turn that off, just give it a redstone signal, and you won't do anything to the rain. I hope you have enjoyed that first part of the Random Things mod spotlight. There's a bunch of fun things from this mod, and unfortunately it's just too much to put into one video. But stay tuned for part 2. Anyway, this has been Grok the Duck Farmer. Thanks for watching. Bye.